morning to everyone. My name is Tamerlan Muhamedjanov. I'm board member of AFC Authority, and I'll be this session's moderator today. Just a few disclosure remarks, let's say, like before kick off. So you have your badge, and on the back of it you have a QR code which you can scan to access all the necessary information about our conference. You can also upload our Events Rock app through QR code, which you can see, to enjoy better experience for our conference. So again, thank you for joining us today and not during the plenary session, which is taking place at the same time. We're all glad to welcome you here, and we're here to discuss the Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI as it's commonly referred to. And we have a panel of distinguished speakers today, which will share their insights into how the BRI initiative is developing. You all know that it was launched in 2013 and is aimed at reviving the ancient Silk Road, which connected China with Europe and wider Eurasian region. So we'll hear some insight about the modern version of that Silk Road world and how it's evolving over time. And just to give some context, Kazakhstan, as you know, is an integral part of the BRI initiative. 2 of the 6 roads that are included as part of BRI pass through Kazakhstan, and Kazakhstan has become a vital land bridge connecting China and Europe, and more than 2,500 kilometers of railroads and 3,000 of outroads have been constructed over this period to enable this connectivity between China and Europe. We have a dry port, the Horgoz, which become a major trading hub for carrying goods from China to Europe. And this has all translated into larger volumes of trade with China, obviously, and larger volume of investments into Kazakhstan by China. So the overall trade volumes between Kazakhstan and China has almost doubled within this 15 years of time, surpassing 30 billion baht last year. So there are some interesting developments, and there will be hopefully a very interesting discussion today. Let me quickly introduce our speakers today. So we have Mr. Liu Hao, the Executive Vice President of Shanghai Stock Exchange. You all know that Shanghai Stock Exchange is a co-shareholder of Astana International Exchange, and the world's 3rd largest stock exchange by market cap of its listed companies. We have Barry Chen from China International Corporation, or CACC as it's commonly known. It's a Chinese partially state-owned multinational investment management financial services company headquartered in Beijing with offices in China and Hong Kong, New York, London, San Francisco, Frankfurt, and Tokyo. We have Damir Kozhahmetov, General Director of KTZ Express, which is a subsidiary company of Kazakhstan Temir-Jolы, our national railway company. KTZ Express plays a vital role linking Asia and Europe. It's a logistic companies doing multimodal transport services. And finally, we have Lawrence Sang from TF International Securities, who heads Belt and Road Development department there. And TF Securities is a global financial service provider listed on Shanghai Stock Exchange. And the parent company manages more than 100 billion in assets, operates in 100 branches in China, and employs over 4,000 people. So with that, I'd like to start our today's discussion, and I'll probably address our first question to Shanghai Stock Exchange, if you allow me. So, Mr. Hao, like maybe just briefly introduce Shanghai Stock Exchange, and provide some how SSC is positioning itself to support the financing needs of Belt and Road Initiative, both within China and in partner countries like Kazakhstan.
好的，谢谢特米兰先生啊。大家好啊，非常有高兴来到哈萨克斯坦参加今天的阿斯塔纳金融日活动。那通过这2天的会议交流啊，我已经充分感受到哈萨克斯坦国家的快速发展。那今天的主题啊，聚焦金融服务“一带一路”建设，我觉得这是个非常有意义的主题。正如主持人刚才所讲到的，我非常愿意结合上交所的发展，结合上交所与 AIFC 和 AIGS 之间的合作，分享一些看法和想法。那近年来呢，上交所积极推动“一带一路”沿线国家和地区资本市场的交流合作。我们通过投资端和融资端的均衡发展，为参与“一带一路”建设项目提供全面的支持。首先，在融资端方面，那上海证券交易所作为全球最大的证券交易所，目前我们的债券托管量是17万亿 RMB。那上交所呢，自2018年开始就试点“一带一路”的债。“一带一路”债呢，是指在境内外企业发行的。这个募集资金啊，用于这个“一带一路”相关项目建设的债券，或者说是“一带一路”相关地区的这个国家的企业机构啊、政府等相关部门发行的这个债券。那从18年试点以来，这个在上交所呢已经发行了37单的这个“一带一路”啊项目债。那募集资金呢是达到了这个380多亿元。那这些资金呢，主要用于相关的“一带一路”沿线国家地区的项目建设。所以呢，下一步啊，上交所将继续在中国证监会的统筹领导下，进一步优化“一带一路”啊债相关的业务的安排，让更多符合“一带一路”倡议的相关主体和项目，通过债券市场融集到更多的资金，来支持“一带一路”的发展。那同时呢，在用好债券市场同时呢，我们也积极支持上交所的这个上市公司参与“一带一路”的建设。然后我们通过持续的这个制度创新，动员境内外的这个资本和机构，来共同参与，畅通外上市公司啊境内外融资的渠道。比如，这个近年来上交所积极的支持上市公司赴境外发行这个全球存托凭证，也就是 GDR。2019年呢，我们首家这个上海的上市公司在英国发行了全球存托凭证。那截止到目前呢，我们一共在这个有14家上市公司啊，分别是在英国啊、伦敦发行了这个 GDR， 募集了大量的资金。那资金金额呢，大约是在92亿美元。那为公司发展呢提供了这个宝贵的这个资金，同时呢也积极参与了这个相关“一带一路”项目的建设。那比如2020年9月，为了这个收购啊秘鲁的一个公司的一个股权，那中国上海证券交易所的上市公司长江电力，它呢就等于是在英国伦敦证券交易所发行了这个 GDR， 并且上市。那一方面既筹集到了项目收购所需的资金，另一方面呢也为就是整个“一带一路”项目建设这个做出了贡献。所以呢，就说是我们这边呢是积极支持我们上海证券交易所的这个境外这个上市公司到境外发行 GDR， 更好的就是帮助“一带一路”开展工作。在投资端建设方面呢，上交所这边积极的在研究编制包含这个中东、中亚、这个东南亚等“一带一路”沿线国家的这个市场指数，那帮助就是不同地区的投资者，及投资主体啊，提供多样化的业绩比较的这个基准或者更好的投资标的。那在相关的产品开发方面呢，我们是这个已经与这个日本啊、沙特、这个中国香港啊、新加坡啊等地区开展了这个 ETF 产品的一个互通。那特别是在今年的6月份，实际上我们这边呢，等于是发行了首支跟踪沙特市场的这个 ETF 产品，为这个国内投资者呢参与“一带一路”沿线国家的这个市场呀，提高了良好的机会。我想呢，未来呢，就是中国和哈萨克斯坦的金融机构，特别是资管机构，能够聚焦更多这个产品的这个开发，开发出适合双方这个市场的适合这个投资者的这个金融产品，更好的这个服务“一带一路”这个建设行稳致远。我想第一个问题先做一个简要的回答，谢谢。Thank you, Terminal.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Hall, for your For your answer, can I now switch to Barry, to you? So, yes, CICC has been around for some quite time, right? Like it was started as a joint venture between Morgan Stanley and China Construction Bank back in 90s. So, if you could, share your thoughts on how the journey evolved over time and what role CICC has played in launching and boosting the BRI initiative, and maybe elaborate on some key projects that you've was involved in as a firm, maybe in Kazakhstan, maybe in other Central Asian countries.
Thank you, Timoran. First of all, thank you very much for having me to come to the AFD again. I think I attended the first AFD in 2018, and possibly the only time that I didn't came is during the COVID time. Very happy to see here again a big group of new friends and old friends. Maybe I can just briefly introduce myself as well as CICC. Timoran has kind enough to start it as CICC was originally a joint venture between Morgan Stanley and China Construction Bank. But after all this year, there's some changes in shareholding. Now we are 40% owned by CIC, the Sovereign Wealth Fund of China, and the rest of which are widely spread among the shareholders, investors in Hong Kong and in Shanghai. Our share are listed in Hong Kong and Shanghai as well. So what we have done before, or put it this way, I am in charge of the business development in Asia, including from Korea to Central Asia and to West Asia. I think the reason that we are here is we see the opportunity that we have experienced in China. As I said, that when we started our company 28 years ago, there's no investment banking. There was only project or even ministry. So we need the investment bank to help to reform the ministry or some of those state-owned enterprises to make them more market-oriented, and most importantly is to bring in capital. So in the last 2 decades, I think most of you will have together witnessed the growth or even success of this Chinese company. So I think the experience that we have seen in China will be relevant. We see a lot of this privatization program of some casino company, and going back as what we have been working in the past in Kazakhstan is the first time I came here maybe in 2011 when I did the Hong Kong IPO, Hong Kong listing for Kas Mineral. At the time it's called Kasamit. Now we have Kas Mineral, Kasamit again. So then I would say that that's a very far-reaching, visionary step taken by Kasamit at the time to have the company listed in Hong Kong. But I think that's a bit very early. So we haven't had much to do from then until 2017 when AIFC was established. So we came again, I came here again. We were the first non-domestic members of AIX at the time. And we also participated in some other privatization of some casino company like Kazakhstan. We were there for the GDR listing in London, as well as a market maker here on AIX. So we do see that that is happening, put it this way, that is happening in Kazakhstan. And I also see that Kazakhstan or AIFC is not just a financial center for Kazakhstan. I think it's more important, it is a financial center for Central Asia. So throughout the years, I have established a small team here, and the majority they cover Kazakhstan company, Kazakhstan business, but also is going out to some other neighboring country, including Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, those Central Asian countries. So what we also see is the relationship or the trade relationship between China and Kazakhstan or Central Asia. So we see more and more important about the RMB use first in trade, but hopefully later on some of the financial product. 2 years ago, we signed an MOU with AIX as to promote RMB product to be listed on AIX. But I also have to be honest to you that it was not easy. It was not easy for one of the reasons is that company can borrow dollars cheaply before like 2 or 3 years ago. And commercially, you may think that it doesn't make sense why I have to borrow more expensively in Chinese yuan while you can borrow in lower cost in dollars. But now we see there's some reverse in the situation. The RMB yuan interest rate now is lower than the dollar rate. So I think it is also a chance for us is to promote the use of RMB in the financial product. Some of our company here is possibly can consider. Maybe later on, that means you can also consider to have the RMB bond. I'm doing pitching. For listing here and also maybe for listing or traded in mainland China. So this is what we have is the success story in China. I know that it will not be 100% the same, but it will be very different. And I'm very optimistic, and I'm seeing that it will happen. If we see China or Shenzhen, that 2 decades ago, if you have been to Shenzhen 2 decades ago, and you go again today, you'll be very surprised as to the development, as the progress. So I would not be surprised to see the changes here, not to say 2 decades. In the next 10 years, 5 years, I have witnessed the changes in the last 7 years. So I'm expecting even more significant changes in the next 5 years and so. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. Damir, can I now switch to you? I know that KTG had an office in China, in Hong Kong in particular, I guess, like even before pre-COVID time. So like as a company, you were quite active in Belt and Road Initiative development overall. So like if you could, just describe what role KTG Express plays in the implementation of BRI initiative and how this role evolved over this past 11 years.
Thank you, Tamerlan. First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me and giving such opportunity to discuss Belt and Road Initiative. As KTZ Express, we're 100% subsidiary of Kazakhstan Temirjalo. It's Kazakhstan Railways, national company. As being the national company and promoting and developing railroad transportation, we definitely see that Belt and Road for the past decade, I think, developed, and we are playing maybe as my concern the main part of it, because Kazakhstan, as you know, is like a transit hub, and we're connecting China with Europe and Europe with China. So we mostly trying to make the best efforts to our clients and customers to bring cargoes in a short period of time and giving the best services we can have. And as Belt and Road Initiative, we are, I think, the first company who invested and developed infrastructural projects. I mean, in 2014, we have launched our joint venture with Port Lianyungan. It's in Bay region of China. So we have now almost 10 years already. In May we have celebration of the 10 years of this port. And second project, together with also Port Lianyungan, we have developed in 2017. It's our main terminal. It's called Khargos Gateway. It's in the border between China and Kazakhstan. And as you can see, we connect like China and Kazakhstan within the border, because I think in 2012 there was just a step, and there is nothing. The infrastructure was very not so convenient, and there is nothing there. So in 10 years we have developed the city there. So we developed the cargo flow, and going further, this year we are starting our third project with our Chinese partner, Port Lianyungan. We are developing a container hub in Port Aktau. So, and this will be, I think, the most important infrastructure project, because we are developing also together with Chinese partners our middle corridor. As you know, it's Trans-Caspian International Transport Route, sorry. And you see KTZ Express and KTZ itself, we are also part of Belt and Road Initiative. And also, for your information, this year in February, together with our president, His Excellency Mr. Kassym-Jomart Kemelyevich Tokayev, we have opened our new terminal in Xi'an, in the center of China. So we are very active and to remove all the bottlenecks that we have to make this transportation very smooth and very fast. So this is what we have.
Like we hear a lot about middle corridor, but I think not many people know exactly what routes does it cover. Can you maybe elaborate where it starts, where it ends, and what are the maybe some general figures around?
Yeah. Yes, it also was our president's initiative to have alternative route for the northern corridor. As you know, geopolitics now is very important for the world trade, and we need to consider different kind of events that is happening all over the world. So, and this route connects China with Europe through, I think, maybe five or more countries. It's China, Kazakhstan, Georgia, Azerbaijan, and towards through Black Sea to Europe. And also now we're connecting Turkey a lot, and it plays an important role because, and it's also some challenging initiative because we bypassed all the way through China. It's around maybe 4,000 to 5,000 kilometers through China going to Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is as you know, it's the 9th largest country in the world. So transit route through Kazakhstan is maybe more than 2,300 kilometers, and we are trying to make it very fast as our first block train from Xi'an to Azerbaijan went up to 9 days. So the distance was maybe around 7,000 or 8,000 kilometers. So in 9 days we bypassed all the China, Kazakhstan, and also our Caspian Sea. So it's multimodal transportation. We switched from one railroad gauge to port, to ships and other countries. So it's kind of challenging, and we are making it happen. So now, as you know, it's compared to last year, its growth of this route is already 10 times, and we have shipped up to date around 22,000 TEUs. It's 20 feet containers. So, and we are now developing more and more. Together with our Chinese partners, we are planning in 1 month sending up to 40 block trains for this kind of transportation, and also multimodal transportation. It's very huge amount, as I said. And yes, Belt and Road Initiative is also helping us because there are some financial also struggles, I say, because we have a lot of bottlenecks within this route, and together with our partners from China, Azerbaijan, Georgia, we created some work plan to overcome these bottlenecks. It's with the infrastructural projects and also with the customs barriers, and also there to overcome the customs barriers, we are doing a lot of digitalization. and together with also our partner from Singapore, PSA, as you know, we have created some digital platform called Digital Trade Corridor, and now it's, I think, maybe up to 30 minutes to bypass a border between China and Kazakhstan, and it's very fast. I think this is what we're doing, and it's more yet to come, for sure. But together with our partners, we're making it happen.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Lawrence, can I now switch to you? Like, well, TF Securities is a securities firm founded in Hubei province, right? And we're like mostly used to dealing with like Beijing or Shanghai headquartered companies. So like if you could, you know, like introduce your company and maybe dwell on the role of TF Securities in Belt and Road Initiative from financing point of view.
Yeah, and thank you for giving such an opportunity to be here, and it's really my pleasure, and it's my first time to be in Astana, and I do like the weather here because Hong Kong is now experiencing like 30-something degrees, and we have a typhoon there, so the weather is extremely nice here. I love it. So TF International is an investment bank and a hedge fund in Hong Kong. Our mother company, our shareholder, is TF Security, which is listed in Shanghai Stock Exchange. And then the ultimate beneficial owner of the company is Hubei government. Hubei is a very large province in China. In terms of GDP, it should be ranking like number 7 in China. So the feature of Hubei is an industrial province. The securitization rate of this province is very low. So as a state-owned enterprise there, and we are the only financial institution owned by the state, the only window company that Hubei has in overseas. So we have a lot of unique resources in terms of making use of Hubei's industrial advantage. For example, our headquarters is located in an area where those optical devices are manufactured. So we call it the optical village of China, just like the Silicon Valley in the United States. So that's a very unique opportunity for us to make use of this kind of a government resources there. And apart from that, our holding group is Hong Tai Group. Hong Tai Group is actually financial holding company of Hubei province. So within the group, we have a lot of synergy there. For example, they have a Hubei asset management firm. They have a carbon exchange. So I heard something about carbon exchange in Astana here yesterday. So I believe there will be a lot of room for cooperation in future. So let's go back to TF International. So regarding the Belt and Road Initiative, we actually started the Department of Belt and Road Development 2 years ago. And to me, allow me to give a very brief introduction of myself. So I'm the co-head of Belt and Road Development. I'm the co-head of Structured Finance, and I'm also the responsible officer for investment banking in the firm. So I actually oversee multiple tasks there. For Belt and Road Initiative, to us, it's a great opportunity. The initiative has been carried out for a couple of years already. So in recent years, there are many changes around the world. We focus in two areas, to be more specific. One is Central Asia, another one is Middle East. We have visited Middle East since like 3 years ago. And then we now establish a lot of connection with a few government bodies within Saudi Arabia, UAE, Oman, Kuwait, and we are pitching Qatar and Berlin. For Central Asia, like what Barry has mentioned, we see there are lots of development opportunities here. When you have development opportunity there, it means there will be some financial need in terms of capital market or project finance. That's what we can do. And besides that, we can do some project introduction for the sponsor of each project, like in Hubei or in other provinces of China. We have a lot of excellent enterprise. No matter how the macroeconomy of China does, the enterprise are still there, the technology is still there. And it is actually very much welcomed by Middle East countries. And I believe it would be very similar to that in Central Asia countries. And apart from that, another reason that I'm here is I'm trying to invite more Central Asia, especially those in Kazakhstan, to be the new issuer of bond or of IPO in Hong Kong market. Because, actually, I do agree with Barry's point. To me, China was an investment market, but then I would call it a financing market now, because the fundamental rate is extremely low when you compare to the dollars. It happens the same in Hong Kong. We encourage a lot of new issuers to Hong Kong to issue dim sum bond. We already signed MOU with 1 or 2 MOF, Ministry of Finance, of other Central Asia countries. So I think it would be a trend for Central Asia countries to issue dim sum bond in Hong Kong to enjoy the very low interest rate and to enjoy the benefit of internationalization of RMB. So that's our core strategy. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hao, can I ask another question? Shanghai Stock Exchange has become a shareholder of AX, Astana International Exchange, and I was personally involved in negotiation back in 2017. So, what's the long-term vision for collaboration between Shanghai Stock Exchange and AFC and AX in the context of Belt and Road Initiative?
好的，谢谢主持人。“一带一路”倡议是秉持人类命运共同体的理念，是推进伙伴国家在全球贸易、投资、经济社会发展、环境保护等领域的政策协调和务实的合作，对实现全球可持续发展目标有非常重要的作用。上交所非常愿意与 AX 共同推进“一带一路”下绿色的金融和可持续的投资。具体可以，我们觉得从3个方面开展合作，就是在“一带一路”的框架下。一是在债券方面呢，我们积极鼓励哈萨克斯坦及其他“一带一路”沿线国家呢，到上交所发行绿色熊猫债。那上交所呢和 AIX 呢，可以是联合推广示范性的绿色债券项目，那展示绿色金融在实际操作中的效益和投融资优势，那以提升市场对整个绿色债券的认识。激发更广泛的市场参与者加入绿色金融的领域，进而在“一带一路”沿线国家推广绿色投资和实现可持续的发展。那同时呢，我们也可以建立跨境绿色投资的各种平台，通过联合举办研讨会啊、论坛等形式，来不断增加市场主体啊，还有人们对绿色金融的认知，那以促进绿色金融产品呢和最佳实践的交流。那我想呢，我们通过这些具体的合作措施呢，是上交所和 AIX 将共同推动“一带一路”沿线国家绿色的金融发展，来为全球可持续发展贡献自己的力量。这是第一个方面，我觉得可以开展合作的。第二个呢，是在可持续评价体系方面呢，上交所呢已经发布了中证 ESG 评价体系。那这一个评价体系呢，是借鉴了UNSDG、GRI 还有TCFD 等多项国际可持续发展评价的框架。那综合反映企业可持续风险与机遇管理的效能。那我们自己觉得呢，这么一个管理体系呢，是能够为境内外企业与投资者提供一个沟通的桥梁，有效的降低跨境投资的障碍。那目前呢，我们的评价呢已经覆盖5000余家上市公司和2000多家发行债主体，债券发行人。那评价产品呢，广泛应用于养老金、保险资金等长期资金。那外资基金、头部公募基金、券商资管等100余家资管机构投资研究。那上交所呢，可以与 AIX 结合“一带一路”框架的这么原则和理念，联合开展评价的研究及推广工作，为完善企业治理架构啊，增进民生福祉啊，实现互利共赢提供评价参考，也可以引领可持续投资发展提供基础。这是第二个方面，我觉得在持续评价方面，我们可以联合开展一些工作。那第三一个方面呢，涉及到绿色和 ESG 指数方面。上交所这边持续开发和优化 ESG 数据的组合工具，为市场提供更多的 ESG 策略指数，打造标杆性的绿色 ETF 产品。那截止到7月底的上交所这边呢，累计发布绿色指数是144条，绿色指数跟踪产品88只。 那规模呢是合计达到这个734亿元。那已经上市的绿色这个 ETF 呢是43只，那规模呢合计是400多亿元。那未来我相信我们也可以与 AIX 探讨呢，就是说是在“一带一路”的指数布局和开发方面加大合作的力度，这个引导社会资金流向节能啊、减排、低碳环保等领域。一方面实现大家的一个互利共赢、共同发展，另外一方面也共同建设这个资源节约、绿色低碳的这个“一带一路”。谢谢主持人，我就回答这些。Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Hall. Next question is to you. Like Lawrence mentioned about dim sum bonds, we have panda bonds, right? Those are vital financing instruments or in the toolkit of financing Belt and Road Initiative. How has CICC supported the issuance and trading of those bonds, and how do they contribute to the broader development of the markets?
Yeah, maybe I just thank you, Timalan. I just take this opportunity you heard about dim sum. It's not that kind of food that you love in Hong Kong. You heard about panda. It's not that big panda. Some of the distinguish between panda bond and dim sum bond is essentially they are all yuan denominated, but dim sum is issued or normally traded in Hong Kong, while panda bond is issued in the mainland China. Certainly, the panda bond will have a bigger and deeper market. You can imagine that what we say for the dim sum bond, that essentially is the offshore market, but panda bond is an onshore market. In terms of the size, panda bond, if I remember correctly, last year the issue is about 150 billion yuan, which is about $20 billion, which is a very significant market. What we see is, as I said earlier, that with the lower interest rate of China, the Chinese yuan, I think it makes sense. It makes sense to borrow cheaper from the Chinese yuan bond. From CICC, what we did is, one of the reasons we come here, not just for this AFD, obviously AFD is the primary reason that I am here, but we also want to take this chance to meet some potential client, is to introduce to them how feasible it is to issue panda bond in China. And the good thing is that the policy is more relaxed now, not just for the financial cost, but also the use of deposit. In the past, most of this panda bond deposit could only be used in mainland China. So unless you do have some real business in China, you may find it very difficult how I'm going to use my yuan. But now the government, the PBOC, central bank, allow the remittance of this proceeds from panda bond outside China, maybe to Kazakhstan, for your project here. I think this is also the flexibility or the beauty for this kind of product. And I just want to also to add is that apart from debt financing, in fact, equity financing is also very interesting point or very interesting product. I would say the investor would be interested too, because again, take it China company as an example, or take CICC ourselves as example. When we were founded in 1995, we have the pay-up capital from our shareholders of $100 million. $100 million we started. And then throughout the years, we didn't raise any money from our shareholders. By the time one of our shareholders, Morgan Stanley, they exit, they sold their share in a company. In 17 years later, their $35 million initial investment turned out to be $900 million. So it kind of like 30 times wealth in 7 years. So I think people here or interested in Central Asia is expecting similar, if not the same, of this kind of growth story. So equity financing is also an interesting, and as I said, we have participated in some of those companies like Kazakhstan or we have been chasing after for a company like Gas. And again, I'm pitching for KTZ Express for them to consider the equity financing tools as well. And I also want to add one thing is that from Chinese company perspective, some of the success is we did use of the bigger market. Like 20 years ago, when we did some of the IPO of multi-billion company like China Mobile, it wasn't listed in Shanghai. It was listed in Hong Kong and in New York. Bear in mind that at that time, Hong Kong or even New York is much biggest market. Now Shanghai become a third largest capital market in the world. So I think some of these our companies should also consider like a dual listing. We have dual listing of GDR in London on AIX, but with the close or trade relationship with China, it also makes sense to have dual listing like in Shanghai AIX or Hong Kong AIX. And as a matter of fact, I know that Hong Kong Stock Exchange, they have signed the MOU, the dual listing MOU with Saudi's Tadawul and also in the Indonesian Stock Exchange. And I can also suggest or recommend is that AIX can also consider having this kind of arrangement if the Hong Kong or Shanghai, so that to facilitate to let our company, our Kazakhstani company, be able to access to more capital in the global market. Thank you.
Thanks, Barry. So building on Barry's comment about KTZ going public, possibly at some point in the future, Damir, can you share your thoughts about the financing of KTZ Express in a broader context? Like what financing routes do you go, and like is RMB potentially something you explore as a funding currency for the company?
Thank you for the question. Yes, can you hear? Oh, okay. Thank you for the question. Actually, the topic on financing is very important for us because due to our vast investment plans, we are now as KTZ Express considering maybe to use some green bonds or some green financing, because as you know, railroad is the most efficient and the less CO2 emission transportation. How is that? Transportation
less environment
effective, yes, and to attract more customers, and especially from Europe countries, we are thinking that we need to think more towards some green money and to think about the CO2 emission, and to do that we need to have some total reconstruction of our financial institution in KTZ Express. And as you know, within this Belt and Road Initiative, I think Kazakhstan itself has invested more than $35 billion in this decade maybe. And yet to come, as you know, we have 4 major infrastructural projects. It's Dostik-Mointy, it's second railroad, it's Almaty bypass, it's third border railroad infrastructure. It's called Bakhty-Ayagos, and they all need some financing. And due to that, and we know that now financial position in all over the world is very sensitive due to geopolitics situation, and even now we are facing some challenges to work with Chinese banks due to some sanction, etc., and also with the European banks. And I think, yeah, if something will be more attractive for us and more convenient to invest or to issue some new bonds and to attract new investments for our projects, it will be interesting and we can consider it.
Oh, you have the contacts of Barry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lawrence, so TF International Securities has become trading member of Astana International Exchange just 3 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. So, what prompted this decision? What prospects and opportunities do you see in Astana International Financial Centre in particular?
Thank you for the question. And yeah, we are happy that we become a member of the exchange a couple of weeks ago. And the reason that we are applying for this membership is that we want to increase our presence in the region. And we want to strengthen the connection between two markets. Because as a matter of fact, now in Hong Kong, TF International, we are handling trading of stock market of a lot of area, of course, Hong Kong, of course, China, of course, and we also facilitate Taiwan, Japan, Korean. So the trading volume of our Japanese and Taiwanese stock equity are very good. And we are a development company, so we have to explore a new market. And Kazakhstan is definitely the best new market within the region, there's no doubt. So that's the very basic reason that we apply for the membership. We want to be one of them here. And in the future, we also learned that the exchange has some connection with Abu Dhabi. So I think it's an advantage we can make use of because we are extending our presence in the Middle East as well. So I think it's a win-win situation for us to be a member in the exchange.
Thanks, Lawrence. Yeah. Well, I think we can have a few questions from the audience, if there are any. Yes, please. Microphone. Just for this.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for interesting discussion. And I have a question for Barry. Again, nice to meet you again. The question is, RMB-denominated products are very popular around the world, and they're going to be popular in Kazakhstan for sure. In 2020, there was first issue of RMB-denominated bond on AIX. It was quite popular among professional investors, though it wasn't offered for ordinary people, right? Because they're not really, let's say, educated enough to make this investment choice. But do you plan to? Do you know what are the challenges RMB-denominated products face when the issuers want to offer them in Kazakhstan? Maybe some banking legislation or payment legislation challenges arise. And do you plan to? Do you know anything about any plans of the companies on excluding those impediments if they exist, of course?
Thank you very much. Let me try to answer in this way. First of all, I do agree that RMB product in the Central Asia region or in AIFC will be a product for future growth. But I think I also don't want to be overemphasized because overestimate the challenges. As you said, there are challenges. The most significant challenge I see is the supply of offshore RMB, because for any RMB product that's traded here, by default, it is offshore. It's not in the mainland market. And for the time being, even though we have been started to internationalize RMB for some years, if not decades, the progress when compared with dollars, obviously still only account for a very small portion. And you see, like Hong Kong is so-called the biggest RMB offshore market. But even the biggest, we are talking about 1,000 billion yuan, and sometimes it's less than that. So I think that is one of the key challenges, as personally I see it this way. How to address that? The more trade certainly will help. The more trade carry out in RMB certainly will help to have more offshore RMB supplies. And secondly, I will also try to advocate as to the policymakers, like the PBOC or the central bank between country, as to allow more of this currency exchange program to have RMB going out of mainland China easier. That will help to increase the supply of RMB offshore and making the product. I mean, someone would say, I would love to buy the RMB bonds, but I don't have the RMB, then have to go to exchange it. Where can I get the RMB for the product? So I think that's the key. And CICC, we ourselves, has been regularly making proposal to the Chinese policymakers. So I think we have been and will be continuous to advocate this to internationalize RMB in the world. Thank you.
Yeah, any more questions? I think there was a question from someone there. Микрофон можно дать?
OK， 亲爱的同事们，大家好，我是地区可继续发展基金会的分析师。现在我有一个问题，这个活动有长日的国际合作前景吗？和“一带一路”项目的可继续进入了。So I can duplicate the question in English. How many important goals can have this project named in Russian? It will be «Один пояс, один путь».
Who is... Кому вопрос? Who is the question to?
Этот вопрос задается всем спикерам этот вопрос. Как раз есть возможность...
На русском можете повторить вопрос? Я просто попробую на английский вот перевести.
В чем заключается устойчивость проекта «Один пояс, один путь» и какие вызовы могут быть в этом проекте, с которыми придется, наверное, столкнуться?
So, Lawrence, do you mind answering this question? So, the question is, how sustainable is Belt and Road Initiative in general, and what possible challenges it may encounter?
Thank you for the question. For the first question, how sustainable? I think it's very subjective. For items sustainable means there are mutual benefit to each stakeholder within the game. Like, for example, if there's only one side, then it's not sustainable. But if it is for both sides, there are benefits for both sides. For example, someone needs the diversification of economy, someone needs the financial investment for capital gain, then it is something sustainable. So I would believe Belt and Road Initiative is very much sustainable if we do it in the right way. And the challenges here are also very subjective. And in different jurisdictions, different regions, we have different kind of law. So actually this exchange is very good because we apply English law here. So English law is kind of a lingua franca for most of developed countries. So we are actually promoting this idea to whatever country or whatever exchange that we have been visiting as well. At least you need an exchange way, or you need some sort of a channel to connect the laws and regulations so that we can have, after you have a clear rules for everything, no matter it's bond issuance, equity IPO, then you can do capital market financing. It's the same for project financing. For some challenges, that's very practical. Like investor asked me, do you really know the law there? You haven't been there. I said, yes, but so we can only seek for professional legal advice from local lawyers. And then he said, how's the recognition of that local law firm when you compare with the magic cycle? I said, well, then you cannot compare in this way. Then that's a very practical challenge. We have to solve it case by case. So in general, I would say this kind of initiative, this BRI initiative is very sustainable. And there are existing challenges, but we are solving it one by one. Thank you.
Well, thanks to the audience, and let's give a round of applause to our speakers. Yeah. If I can ask the speakers to take your seats, like we have a small awarding ceremony and for like 5 minutes. I can. So let me introduce Mr. Calvin Fu, our esteemed guest from Chengdu, and he's the president of China Innovation Finance Institute. And Mr. Calvin Fu has become a director in AFC Incorporated company, which will advocate for the growth of business from Chengdu and Sichuan province. So like a 5-minute presentation from him. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much. I know we are running out of time of this panel. I'll try to finish it within 3 minutes. Morning, I'm Kelvin. Maybe some of you know me while I was in charge of China office at country head of Abu Dhabi Global Markets. So I'm very aware of the AFC, common law-based free financial zone, very, very successful story and cases around the world. Today, I came here on behalf of Chengdu. I don't know how know much about Chengdu. Panda, right? So not panda bond, right? So yes, Chengdu provide a supply 100% of a panda of the world. Each year, 500. So what else? Hot pot? Spicy food. Spicy food, yes. History and beauty. My God. Okay, thank you so much. You make my session very colorful. Thank you so much, and all the wild culture. So that's not all. So you can see all those beautiful buildings. Behind them is a city. It's a regional innovation financial center. It's life. So what Chengdu has? Within 1 minute, I'll give you an introduction. Chengdu is the capital of Sichuan province. Chengdu is a big city. It has 200 million in population. Its annual GDP is over $300 billion US, ranked around the number 5 in China, right behind Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, whatever you know. So this city has 2 international airports, very big. Very convenient. It's an international transportation hub. So it's a passenger throughout every year, almost reached to 100 million people each year. So this city is big, and it has 10 industry over 200 million level industry clusters. That's what not only the Kazakhstan, but whole Central Asia's economic transformation need, like advanced manufacturing in aerospace, aviation, information, mobile device, automobile device, biopharmacy, green food, new type material, new energy, etc. This city is a city of innovation, innovation hub of Western China. It has over it's almost 20,000 innovation companies of the national level. It has over 150 listed companies listed in China, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Hong Kong, and US, London, Frankfurt. Of course, in the future, we hope they can list it here. Behind them, they might be the potential bond issuers, green or other bonds here. And this city is a big economy. In terms of financial services, it has over 2,500 financial institutions. And it serves the Western China service hub for 3 Chinese stock exchange from Shanghai to Shenzhen to Beijing, even now for Hong Kong. So this city has a potential to work together with Kazakhstan, with Central Asia economies to help the economic transformation in the spirits of Belt and Road initiative. And this city has a good balance of society and work and life. It has, in terms of talents, as an innovation and a financial hub, in terms of talents, it has almost 6 million talents, advanced talents in the city, with over 60 universities, over 50 hospitals, and its metro length is over 600 kilometers. So, and then we set up, Chengdu setup is Chengdu Invest Corporation, we call it the CDIC International Office here. Around the globe, this is the first one. After Hong Kong office, this is the first one around the world, along the Banner Road Initiative way, to explore the global markets for Chengdu, those good companies. A lot of big companies, names in China. However, their research center, distribution center, and a service center must be in China the 3 biggest second tier or top tier cities. Chengdu is always one of them to cover whole Western China with 12 provinces. So, and then CDIC, the function and its duty is to bridge, to maximize investment between Chengdu and FC and Kazakhstan first, and finally between China and whole Central Asia along the Banner Road Initiative and the spirits and the countries. And then what do we do? What we do is 4 types of work. We will start here to help clients. In the beginning, it's Chengdu government and then it's companies. But in the future, more Chinese companies. It's government relations, regulatory compliance, business development, investment facilitation, and then market communications. As some kind of advisory or investment bank here. However, we don't do investment bank, just like CSCC, like TF, like other the biggest Chinese investment banks. And law firms, of course, we have one from Xinjiang today here. What we do is we identify the best companies having the strongest interest in Central Asia by anchoring in AFC, and then bring them here and work with all of you, the service providers, professional service providers, to invest here. So, and then our single role is AFC and our Chengdu city through the CDIC International, that company office right over there. So we collaborate to empower and maximize the investment between Central Asia and China by anchoring in this one of the greatest AFC of the world here. So today actually is only a soft launch of our Chengdu city's investment office, CDIC International. But in the future, we hope we can bring more companies, more government entities, and more service providers, just like today with you, and then to help them to anchor here, to invest here, to grow here, and to work together, develop together with all of you. Finally, on behalf of Chengdu City, on behalf of CDIC International, and on behalf of Panda, Panbang, we will always welcome you to come over to Chengdu to stop by our office. See you in the future in Chengdu and here. Thank you.